Okay, so I wanted to also record another video today. This one is called, this is like a thinking about stuff, things going on in your brain subject, which can also be influenced by exterior stuff. Like if you're getting hit from something from the outside that feels a certain way, then you start to think in resonance with that afterwards too. Hey, James Bond, how are you today? Anyway, so there's a thing called, I like to call it, I'll go home and fix it later. So what that means when I say I'll go home and fix it later is you see a bad version of something in your mind. So when you see that, you decide, okay, I see that bad version of something in my mind, now I want to reaffirm a good version of it, right? Let's say I do this like 5 to however 19 times in a row or something. Then when I'm done and like less than a few seconds later it pops back up. So a lot of people probably feel just because something bad pops right back up, it's like they failed. Um, so I'm only going to speak from my experience here. So I'm not going to try to speak for anybody else. Um, when I wear the EMF protection poncho, um, that helps attenuate it cuts off a good chunk of the bad crap that I feel from coming around me. Because then when I take it off, then I start thinking of resonance of a whole lot of different shit. And yeah, and a lot of stuff pops right back up. This also applies to natural resonance frequency being off of stuff that you eat, drink, wear, sit on, sleep on, etc. You can also do overall resonance, which is, for example, these two together at once puts out this third frequency overall resonance. Why is that? Neither of these two by themselves individually could ever put out. But when they both go off at the same time, then you get this other effect. So, yeah. If you are in a field where you're getting hit that it's normal for stuff to pop up. For me anyway. Um so yeah, there is a time and place to do like affirmations and keep reaffirming the positive or whatever version of something that you want. And for me, there's also a time where I'm just gonna have to say, well, okay, there's a difference. Okay, like there's doing it over and over and over and thinking just because you see it pop back up and you gotta like, do it over and over again. You keep going the cycle versus what you're going throughout the day where you kind of like reaffirm it like once or twice per minute, which is kind of pretty minor. And I guess as long as it's not really interfering with what you really want to do, then, but I guess, yeah, sure, go ahead. So, yeah, just understand that. Just because it pops back up, that does not necessarily mean you have to go and reaffirm it another 20 times in a row or 23 times in a row. And then it pops up the bad pops up one more time, and then you have to do like 25 more positives, and you stay in that loop. I get it. I get why people do it or why I would do it why I would do it is because I feel, oh no, bad, I must have failed. But the thing is that we tend to associate bad feelings with all we must have failed. So it gets kind of tricky. You gotta understand your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. It's gonna feel shit as real, and you feel bad. And if you got that made dominantly hooked up with, oh, I must have done something wrong or incorrect, and you're gonna feel like, oh shit, well I better go and fix that right away. It's like, but if you're doing the really minor, like where it's like once or twice per minute, really quickly or maybe once every 5 minutes as you go through your regular thinking that goes on in the background while you're probably watching something, you temporarily zone out for a bit. I don't know. I guess there's probably situations where you don't want to zone out at all, so yeah. Alright, so did I get across the message? Yeah. So there's a time and place to do affirmations like, like having breathing sessions where you focus on your breath for like 10 to 15 minutes. and then you go about your day and do whatever. And it's like, even if you feel, just because you feel bad, that does not necessarily mean it's incorrect. But you could take that as a prompt to re-examine and make sure, oh, did I do this right? But you gotta be careful because, like I said, a lot of people probably tend to associate bad feelings with, oh, but I'm still feeling bad. But you gotta understand though, is that you could get hit from something externally that feels bad, and then you start to think that way, like in synchronization, you start to think that way after getting hit with that. So it's a good thing I wear the EMF protection and all that, and yeah, it's pretty nice. And anyway, yeah, noise going on. I'll go see what that is. But yeah, cut off the bad feelings for at least a good chunk of the time, and yeah, take a break, take a rest from the bad, and try to sit with the more good if you can, or whatever works for you. And all right, I'll see you around. Bye bye.